Final Fantasy XI and MMOs in general are unique in that the way that people experience them can be very different. Unlike most single-player games, people may have entirely different ways that they play the game and enjoy it. They might not even do the same things at all. There might be some overlap, or maybe not. I recently made a video about why I was hesitant to jump into a different private server, Wings 11, after having spent so much time on Eden, which I was already surprised about. I'll put a card to that video above and a link in the description below, but literally moments after making that, I downloaded Wings 11 and hopped on. Such is my addiction. Of course, the reason I was hesitant immediately kind of reared its ugly head, and I had no time to actually level or make progress, which has revealed to me something about how people have played Final Fantasy XI in the past and why some just sort of fell off. I always assumed that, part of the gameplay didn't really gel with people, and I'm sure that's the case for a lot, or maybe the environment, the story, the way that the world just kind of revolves around the player, or maybe it was a million other things about how the game works, its aesthetic, its design, its flow. It just didn't gel with people and they stopped playing. That's what I always assumed was the number one reason that people stopped playing Final Fantasy XI. And while I'm sure that is still the case, this experience has revealed to me something that's probably pretty obvious to basically everybody else. Let's talk about it. So first off, the reason I never encountered this problem, which I'm going to explain in a second, was because of my intense addiction for this game. The first time that I picked up Final Fantasy XI, I didn't stop or slow down till I was in the 50s. I might have changed directions with different jobs, leveled that up like crazy, changed from a black mage to a summoner, leveled up sub jobs, but I was ripping and tearing through as much as I could until things really started to slow down in the low 50s. I think it was 55 that I hit on Summoner right. I took my first break ever, and really my last one of that kind. I thought I was done. That was right before they made the adjustment to the experience required from 50 through 75. It used to be a far more significant jump, 50 plus, and it was brutal. And the change didn't really reduce the overall experience a ton. I'd love to hear the numbers. I know that it was a lot, but it more just made it a bit more smooth, so the mind didn't just freak out when you hit level 51 and all of a sudden it was like 20k. I think it was like, it went back to being like 14k, 15k, 16k. Somebody please tell me the numbers. I kind of forget. I should look it up. I should have looked it up before making this video. Why don't I do research? God, I suck. Point being, I lasted about a month, maybe two, and then Hayden famously played the soundtrack for me in his car, and I was like, damn it, I'm back. And then I never left again. I say all this to point out, I had the time and the focus to just level, be in the game, constantly doing stuff and going. Now let's talk about how that differs from my Wings 11 experience. Wings 11, the weekend that I got pumped about jumping in and starting a fresh character on a new private server, experiencing the whole beginning all over again, I had a lot of time. I spent as much time as I could partying and leveling solo. I got my monk all the way up to 18, got my sub job items again. I got my warrior up to like 15, and then the weekend ended. And work came back in full force and all the things that are a problem right now in terms of games like that, and I really haven't been able to play since. But when I say I haven't been able to play, I more mean that I haven't had 2-3 hour blocks of time that I know I can go to party. And I basically have this level 18 monk, sub warrior, or level 15 warrior sub monk, but why would I do that? And no time to stick it out in the dunes, and or equip him, or all that other stuff. That first weekend I did the initial mission getting me to rank 2, because the Mog Sacks, what are they called? Mog bags? Moogle bags? What is the damn, is it the Mog Sack? I can't, Mog, oh my gosh, anyways. The extra space where you can store gear. I don't know why I'm struggling to remember this right now because my brain's not working right today. Anyways, point being, they tie that progress, opening those bags, that inventory space, to your mission progress, I'm assuming through the main storyline and maybe some of the expansions as well. It's actually kind of a cool idea and a way to introduce that fun, new, almost necessary mechanic of allowing you to have that inventory space, but tying it in a way that your player progress impacts it. You don't just immediately have Mog Satchel? Is that it? The Mog Satchel? Why am I struggling? So you don't just, have another 80 inventory slots immediately. So I've got like 10 or 20 maybe. So I pounded through that. I did some leveling. I got as many outposts as I could, and then, before the cutover and then after the cutover, I actually got some really good ones. I'm actually really excited. I got some nice foundation. I got Zolkheim, Valkyrim Dunes. I got Saruta Baruta, which is huge considering I started in Sandoria, which is weird for me, by the way. I normally start in winter. So it felt good to have that, like that I could still go back to those areas easily and quickly, because that was killing me. Quiffum, I actually charged all the way out. I did the run to Juno early because I was like, I have to get Quiffum. I'm going to kill myself if I don't have access to it and they don't get it again for weeks. So I have a lot of stuff. Anyway, I'm all over the place. My point is, I did a lot in that first weekend and then I ran out of time very quickly. And I don't really have that solid foothold into Vana'diel yet. Yes, I've got a lot of great transportation methods kind of set up with the outpost warps. I've got some inventory space as much as I could with, the options available to me. I've got a good starting set of gear for the jobs that I have, and I've got my sub job. But if you then ask me, okay, you've got 30 to 45 minutes and you want to play some Final Fantasy 11, Wings 11 private server, what are you going to do? I don't know. When I was leveling on Eden, I didn't have this problem until I was in my 40s on Red Mage, or at least 30s on Warrior. Retail, like I said, I was so addicted I don't even remember it being a problem, but there's not a ton I can do as an 18 monk. Normally I'd say let's build up my immense future wealth by just farming notorious monsters or some early mobs just for some money. And it's not that you can't do that as an 18 monk, but it's not going to be that fast. It's certainly not a great, valuable use of my time. There's only so many missions and quests I can do that don't require combat that would require something higher than an 18 monk. And yeah, I can keep going for the outpost, but I can only really do that once a week. And to be honest, I've got a great foundation of outposts. Beyond that, it's going to be more frustrating than anything because I'm such a low-level player. And I started to wonder if this sort of is what happened to a lot of players early on in their 11 experience where, yeah, whether or not they were excited to play or not, they got to a point where time investment wasn't super easy to come by. They didn't always have time to party, but then they were just kind of sitting on these first low-level jobs that are kind of under 20 or maybe just into their 20s, and there's not a ton you can do with little amounts of time yet. Once you get into the 30s, 40s, 50s, there is a ton of ways to spend your time to continue building out your player in Final Fantasy XI and just expand it outwards. But when you're 18, leveling is your primary focus. And if you don't really have a ton of time to level, what else you got? Now, the Wings time period did introduce the books, and on Wings 11, you can once a day use the books to work through those goals and get that nice little experience boost. So what I could be doing, I guess, maybe my most valuable use of time, would be trying to solo some stuff on Warrior. You know what? No, now that I say that, this is the last thing I did. When I had an hour one day and I was still feeling the addiction, but I had no time. And I was like, why don't I just quick go out, pull out a book, and I'll level some great axe skill because I'd been using axe on Warrior and fire off this crossbow a million times and just finish off a book. Get 700 experience all said and done. Maybe 1,000. And I think that's what I did, it's a great use of time. But I could only do it once an hour, which I guess wasn't a problem that day. I only had an hour anyway. And then I was sort of done. But I could see the frustration of a player that wants to make progress. They only have short chunks of time for maybe a couple weeks. Maybe they're not going to have a big chunk of time where they could level and party for a while. And they look around at what's available to them and they just kind of blank. And I'm not saying this to criticize 11. I think the way that 11 pulls you in and restricts you in terms of it just being so dangerous, so imposing all the time, and then as you start to gain strength, the world just opens up around you. I love that about 11. I wouldn't change a thing. But I can totally see how a new player who doesn't really get that foundational, I am a solid force in Vana'diel that can at least go around a number of zones without immediately dying. I would say 30 is that point. And if you don't get there before the first time that you kind of have to take a step back and maybe take a break, or you don't have a ton of time, it's going to hinder you a lot. And I could totally see a group of friends, and there's a few friends that have a lot more time and they just keep blasting through, and this last person, they only make it up to 20, and then they don't have a ton of time each day. And while everybody else, even if they don't have time, they're now farming every day and earning you know, rare drops from notorious monsters that they're able to kill in the 30s and 40s. And then this other guy's like, I can't really do anything today. I can tend my pots in my Mog house, maybe kill a few low-level things to farm some stuff, but it's in a totally different realm. Like I said, there are a lot of early low-level quests, missions, you know, and fame is important, but at some point it is kind of annoying to just pound through these combatless quests just to like earn 200 gil. A lot of the rewards on those are silly, and you're mostly just doing it for the fame and, you know, the flavor text of Vana'diel, understand a little bit more about the world you're playing in. But it's not going to keep you playing 11. And a lot of you might, if you're still here in this video, be sitting here being like, dude, of course, how did you not realize this? And I am always so swept up in 11 that this has never happened. I'm truly just struggling to find time in a way that I rarely have in the past. And I'm kind of shocked. I could see this being a real problem for early players. And I remember making videos, and a few people would occasionally comment, like, I didn't make it that far, and I struggled to kind of get a foothold or whatever wording they chose. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I wonder what they mean by that. I think they mean this. Because really, my next step is getting another party on my warrior and Valkyrie dudes. That is 100% the next thing I should do. And if I don't have, you know, nice little 2-hour block anytime in the near future, I'm not making Wings 11 progress. Not really, anyway. Like I said, this isn't a criticism of private servers or Wings 11. In fact, the Wings of the Goddess expansion, like I was saying with those books, probably offered the first real opportunity to help players out with this problem. But, when it is truly your first character, you don't have sub-dancer yet, you don't have a level 30 to even get advanced jobs, it just limits what you can do. I even briefly was tempted to just level other things. Level white mage up to 10, level red mage up to 10, thief, etc. Just to like get ahead of it in case I need to for some reason, which I'm sure I will eventually. But that just seems sort of silly. I don't know, let me know your thoughts. Is this dumb? Are there a lot of things that I could be spending my time on, and maybe I've just been playing 11 so long, I don't really want to. And like at the time, you know, farming as a level 18 monk, yeah, it's slow, but it's still like the best option available to me. Or is this part of the reason that some players never really got connected to 11 and could get further? Because I don't think a lot of other MMOs have this sort of issue. Maybe EverQuest, and I never really made it that far with EverQuest to understand that, but World of Warcraft solved this problem entirely. The difficulty ramping of WoW, in my mind, never really increases past like 20 or so. It's kind of the same as a solo experience forever. You earn more tools and abilities to kind of combat the rising difficulty, but it balances out really well. That might be an oversimplification of the classic WoW experience. Let me know if you disagree. But yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, and again, no criticism, just kind of like was thinking, I wonder if this is what a lot of people struggled with getting into 11 early on. Anywho, just thoughts. Hunting for thoughts. Remember those? Bringing it back, baby. No, we're not. Keep on the lookout for more videos like this. I want to hear your thoughts in the description below. You can't edit the description. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Can you imagine? So we just edit the description. Hunt for games. I really thought that this was a dumb thought. I'm like, do you have to put it right under the title? Jeez, it's messed up. What am I talking about? Guys, hopefully I have some more time soon. I can get back onto Wings 11 to keep making progress. Otherwise, let me know what you're playing down below, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace. Here goes, guys. There they go. There they go. I love the parachuting goblin. The most amazing thing in the game.